Welcome to one of my Runeterra highlight videos. I highlight a different deck almost every single day of the week. If you enjoy the content, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. Enjoy. Alright, Leona Yasuo. This is definitely my favorite Yasuo deck in the format, and one of the reasons why I think a lot of Yasuo decks struggle to be competitive and reasonable is something that this deck doesn't do, which is this deck isn't playing a bunch of bad cards to make Yasuo playable. So a lot of Yasuo decks have this problem where they're playing a bunch of cards that are kind of individually weak because they have synergy to enable Yasuo, and this deck explicitly isn't doing that because one of our primary means of generating stuns is Leona, and Leona with her Daybreak package is just a very playable set of Runeterra cards. So Leona stuns something when she comes into play as the first card, or when she's leveled up, she stuns something every time you Daybreak. So Leona all on her own can be all of Yasuo's leveling. So we have the entire Daybreak package with the Solaris and Solari Priestess. We've got some combat tricks in Pale Cascade. We also have some other stun payoffs like Blade Twirler. And then at the very top end of our curve, we've got some Infinite Mind Splinter, which is a card that's fallen out of the format a little bit, but I think is still very reasonable. This is another card that the Infinite Mind Splinter all on its own can level up Yasuo completely because this stuns every single turn. So 3 turns of this dragon sitting in play fully levels Yasuo. And then another great thing that this card pairs with Yasuo is once Yasuo's in play with Mind Splitter, Yasuo kills the things that Splinter is locking down eventually. So if the Splinter dies, they've still lost their things, so they don't get them back, basically. We also have a couple copies of Mina Swiftfoot at the top end of our curve, especially with the buff that this gained to gain quick attack is a very reasonable finisher, and Mina is very good against things like Harrowing as well as Feel the Rush to kind of reset your opponent's board a little bit and not give them that big attack while you pressure them out of the game. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it goes. Can you explain why you think Star Shaping is good? Star Shaping is very, very expensive in terms of mana. Opponent is playing Fearsome Aggro, it looks like here. I think I'm holding on to these as blockers. This is a good draw too because it has 3 power. Deny is flexible. You're right that Nopify is better against explicitly burn spells, but we were largely playing Bastion to protect against things like Vile Feast and Ruination, or Vengeance and Ruination, which Nopify misses. Maybe I should play this pre-attacks. Yeah, I should probably play this before I attack here. Big A, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel.
I go where the road takes me.
Steel Tempest is quite good against Mist Wraith, especially with Yasuo up. Nopify is much better against Gohard, you're not wrong. It's worth noting that with Gohard out there, though, that Deny is better than Bastion in that matchup too, right? So, yeah, Deny seems like a better metagame switch. Wraithcaller is very good. The important thing to remember about Wraithcaller, though, is this allegiance cost that it has is a very real deck building cost. Well, I mean, UBI giving people the power to strike is similar to why healthcare, universal healthcare is so heavily resisted in the United States, right, yo cousin? If healthcare isn't tied to people's jobs, people have the freedom to be able to quit jobs that treat them poorly. Which gives a lot of power to individual workers. When the punishment for quitting your job is you could literally be bankrupt for the rest of your life because someone in your family got sick, it's much more difficult to quit your job.
Big blade for a little warrior.
Underestimate. I dare you.
We shall not rest until all betrayers pay.
I'm gonna pass for now and burn a mana. I think I'd rather wait to play this after we get Daylight Spear in play.
Our sun will not set today.
What's the logic behind one Steel Tempest? Steel Tempest actually isn't that good of a card. It's a card that's good explicitly when you have Yasuo in play, but in general, it's a card that's card disadvantage. Let's attack into here is probably bad. I think I should attack in with this, but this attack is loose. This is quick attack, so it's pretty much a free roll.
Our vengeance manifested in you.
That's interesting. Stay safe out there, Colepuck. It's a good draw. That's scary. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have attacked last turn. Black Spear wasn't a card that was really on my radar to play around. I guess they have Kalista in play. So they had Kalista's Black Spear there.
Gaze into the light.
I think I'm gonna Soldier, Conspirator, pick the Soldier back up here. So, Mind Splinter's actually very good in this matchup as well, in part because it clogs up their board with what we're stunning, and with them being a Harrowing deck, their board spaces are a very big resource to them.
All unbelievers will see the light.
I'm gonna make this 3 power so it can block Fearsomes.
I know a way.
Attack with my elusive. Cloud Blazer, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Yeah, a lot of they're definitely a go wide aggro deck, right? So like choking 2 spots up on their board with useless units is really strong. Get dialed in here. So every turn while this is out, these are stunned.
Here's our chance.
It also pumps up the jam on this by a lot. Makes this card very big very quickly. Why did it get the name Dial-Up Dragon? The sound effect when it comes into play. It's not exactly a dial-up modem noise, but it's pretty close. You can see our opponent overrating their stunned units there. Red Rover, let the attackers come over. So they need to like attack, but they also need to like not be dead on the backswing next turn.
We shall pierce their treasonous hearts.
Pierce their treasonous hearts. Alright, so these two are locked out potentially.
Don't want any trouble.
The guilty were bed.
So these two are gonna get stunned by the dial-up dragon next turn, which will make this huge. No, I'm intentionally, that's a good comment. I'm intentionally leaving this alive so that way it takes up board space for my opponent. So, I'm aware we could switch these and kill this, but I explicitly don't want to kill this.
Proud warriors of the sun's true light.
Now who's got the upper hand?
Yeah, now we're just gonna go ahead and gem up and then attack. Atrocity, like Noxing Fervor, feels like it should be slow. I mean, well, to be fair, if it was slow, it would have killed us there, but I'm inclined to agree with you in general. So, worth noting that it wouldn't have solved the issue we had there, but, yeah. I agree. We'd have still died in that instance, but I still agree with the sentiment. This scene is really not good against aggro. That tech is very solid. That archetype is very good, but there's a lot of different builds of it. So like there's builds of it that don't involve you playing that much top end.
Ours is the one true light.
Coming in hot!
Punish transgressions.
I mean, the actual answer is just like play an aggressive deck with a curve and you'll kill people that are playing Ledgerous and Atrocity very quickly most games. I'm taking Traveler here just to have another thing to play to the board. I guess Falling Comet. I'm gonna take Comet. Comet's good insurance against gang playing. Also kills Jack down the line.
Follow the wind, but watch your back.
Easy pass to burn their mana here. My attack for 4 is not worth much here.
Fortune favors the bold.
The dawn has arrived.
With its light, the Solari will unite
Behold
the
the
heavens.
sun's holy light.
I mean, to be fair to Red Deck wins in Magic designs. Like Red Deck wins in Magic also tends to be a pretty interactive archetype in that game as well.
Our strength is forever at its zenith.
Blessed day.
To shine like the sun, you must burn like it.
That was not the 1 mana Sunburst thing I was hoping to generate. Little on the expensive side. Again, easy pass to burn their mana. I feel like the opponent's given us a lot of beneficial passes so far in this set.
Taste my shield.
Goodbye. Sure.
Clad in shining sunlight.
I'll be damned.
Yes, you will.
There's plenty of killing left.
There's always a way out.
War Mason, reporting for duty. The few for the many. Sunlight guide you, my brethren.
Yeah, this should be very lethal, and then guiding touch hopefully means we don't get burned out.
The sun's splendor revealed.
Maybe I do have a future.
I think this game, people trying to puzzle out our opponent's plays, it's really hard to understand why they were making the plays they were making without having access to their hand. And I think there's an incredibly likely chance that our opponent's hand was just clunky because of having too much burn to start. Is almost assuredly what happened. Thankfully, it's always sunny in Runeterra, so...
Bask in the light's radiance.
I guess that's a good question. Runeterra in general or this game? In general. Well, if you're confused by Runeterra in general, I would heavily encourage you to just give the game a download and play through the tutorials in it. It's very hard to pick up most card games if someone's not breaking it down to the very bare bones. I talk through the strategy, but I don't talk through the actual base game mechanics on stream.